Assalamu alaikum, hello and welcome to another episode of Care Across Cultures. I'm your host Makhmur Hameera. You are listening to us on Link FM 96.7. We're available on FM, online and on Facebook. If you'd like to join the programme, please call us on 0114 261 8181. Or you could even leave us a text message on WhatsApp 07939 849 339. Thank you for joining another programme with me. I've been thinking recently about the people who helped to shape us. The grandparents who always remembered our favourite food. The parents who could recall every family story. The aunts and uncles who never forgot a birthday, a name or a dua. We rarely think about memory until it begins to slip away. And when it does, it's not just memories that families worry about. It's knowing where to turn, who to ask, and whether they're facing it alone. On today's programme, we'll be talking about dementia. It has many names. Bhulne ki bimari and others. And we'll be learning more about Yaad Rakhain, which is a project that's been helping Muslim communities understand memory loss, helps to challenge the stigma, access support earlier. And to talk about Yaad Rakhain, I have two guests today who I will be introducing in a moment. Before I do that, here's a disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this programme belong to me and my guests and are not necessarily those of Link FM or of the organisations that we represent. Hello and assalamu alaikum. How are you, both of my guests?
Wa alaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah.
Good. So, joining me today are Makhmur Jamil and Hameera, not Hameera. Hameera Bibi. Both of you are from YAWR Services, and I'll ask you to talk about YAWR Services. But thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So let's start. Makhmur, tell us a little about yourselves and who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing it, so that people get an understanding.
Yeah, for me, this work is very close to my heart. I see our roles in Yaad Rakhain project as being sort of bridge between the families, local services and trusted community spaces. A big part of Yaad Rakhain project is building confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So people sort of feel able to talk about dementia, memory concerns and caring responsibilities, because dementia doesn't affect just one person, it affects the whole family.
Of course, yes.
And our job is to tackle that without fear for embarrassment. We want people to know that they will be listened to, respected and guided in the way that they understand that their culture is understood, their religion is understood. Hameera and I, like we said, we work for YAWR Services. YAWR's was established about 17 years ago, and we have been working in the community, doing various projects. yours has sort of grown organically from constituted organisation to a charity now. Yours, what we do is we create social impact by supporting people in Rotherham, particularly diverse communities, to overcome isolation.
Are there particular communities that you work with, or is it?
We work
much
across,
wider?
actually. It depends what the project, because our social prescribing program,
Mhm.
we work mostly with the indigenous community
Okay.
on that. And that is advocacy and advice.
Okay.
And we also do befriending,
Mhm.
direct payments.
So I understand that YAWR is an acronym, isn't it? What does it actually stand for?
It stands for You Asked, We Responded
Okay.
Services.
So where
yes.
did that come from?
I don't know. I've only been with them for 3 years, but I did ask this
Okay.
question.
Mhm.
Interesting. They started as a homework club
Okay.
in way sort of 17 years ago, and then as the needs were recognised in Rotherham for what was needed, yours developed. And I think they, when I asked Saika where did that name come from, she said, well, I think we sat with social workers and there was health workers, and we all came up with this because how the team worked was that every time someone came to say, well, would you do this?
Yeah.
And they went, they went ahead and did it. So it's like you asked, we responded.
I think it's
So
a
it's-
great name.
yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
a great name. It just does
Yeah.
exactly what it says.
It
doesn't
is. Absolutely.
People come to you with the problem, they ask you, and you respond by providing something
Yes.
for them. Thank you so much. I want to bring Hameera in now. Hameera, welcome to the show. Tell me a little bit about yourself, and when did you get involved with Yaad Rakhain project?
So yeah, I work alongside YAWR Services. I was a support worker prior to this project starting. I was doing support work within the community, and then we got funding for this project, and my role is in this project as a community link worker.
Okay.
So we partnered with RDASH to improve awareness, referrals and early diagnosis and support for people affected by dementia from the minority communities. It's a pilot project which addresses known barriers to dementia assessment in underserved groups and aims to reduce health inequalities in access to memory service. So we have been doing screening clinics within the community, which have been a great success. We work alongside the Rotherham Memory Service, and they already ensure that all patients for whom English isn't the first language are offered interpreters. The screening process is carefully designed and culturally appropriate, ensuring it meets the needs for the global majority communities.
I'm going to stop you for a moment because you mentioned a couple of things that I just want you to help sort of explain. You mentioned something called RDASH.
Yeah.
For our listeners, what is RDASH? What is it?
Yeah, so it's Rotherham, Doncaster and South Humber NHS Foundation Trust. So they work across the NHS with different communities, doing various different projects.
Okay, and you also mentioned memory services. What are memory services and where do they actually sit?
So they're based in Rotherham, so that's the main hub in Rotherham for people who have memory related issues. So if any diagnosis needs to come, it comes from the Rotherham Memory Service.
So is that the NHS?
Yes.
They're part of the NHS, yes.
Fantastic, thank you. Hameera, you've mentioned something about Yaad Rakhain, but I want you to go a little bit deeper in. So I understand it's been going for about 6 months now.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so what's it designed to support? Who is it designed to support and why?
So it's designed to support, I mean at the moment we're working with the Pakistani community within Rotherham. We aim to work with people of the age of 65.
Okay.
It's a community focused initiative whose purpose is to provide practical support and assistance to people facing issues with accessing memory service. And it's also designed to identify vulnerable individuals and connect them with services to help improve their well-being and quality of life.
So
and we're
where-
also educating the Pakistani community about dementia, with what the signs and symptoms are, how to access services and what to recognise.
So there's a key thing that you mentioned earlier, 65 and over.
Yeah,
So that's the people who can access your service.
that's right.
How do you find them? How do they come to you?
So we go to them. So
You
we've
go
been
to
going
them.
out to community groups. We've been speaking about what we're doing, and people have approached us saying, some people have not. They didn't want to say it within the group.
Yeah.
They've approached me themselves, spoke to me privately and said, these are signs and symptoms that we're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
We talk to our children and they say, no, it's just part of old age.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it, and we kind of just brush it off because this is what we get from them. But now that you've brought it to our attention, maybe there is something more to it. And I've told them that, I'll be supporting them from the start to the end.
Okay.
So that's how we've been approaching and getting people to take part in these screening
Fantastic,
clinics.
thank you. Makhmur, something that Hameera just said. Family members say, oh, well, you're just getting old now. Yeah, and you're forgetting
Yeah.
things. I forget things. And I am that 65 plus. So what's the difference then between forgetting things and actually having dementia or memory issues?
It's when you notice it's just a bit more than just forgetting, because when you're forgetting to switch off the gas if you were cooking, or you put your keys somewhere and you can't find it. And there are other symptoms as well that people would they feel down. There are symptoms of depression. There are symptoms of anxiety. So it's a combination of symptoms that when you notice these, this is not normal, just old age, forgetting. It's a bit more than that. But I know you do hear people say, oh, well, it's just old age, and but no, because some people get these symptoms early, at 60 or 65 is no age to be forgetting things or
Okay. So the key thing I'm picking up is that it's not the odd thing that we forget.
no.
So this is on a regular basis,
Yes.
and it's something that has a potentially negative impact on your life,
Yes.
and not just you, but also your family members as well. And it becomes a problem, for
Yes.
want of a better word.
Yeah.
And does it sort of stop you from, living your normal life, I suppose,
It
day
does.
to day?
It does stop you from living normal life, because like I said, if you live in a family, then it affects the rest of the family. Your mood has changed, so your mood affects other members of your family. You're not in some ways you're not sort of the same person anymore, and people notice that.
I've heard stories of people forgetting names
Yeah,
of
yeah,
family members,
yeah,
husband, a wife, daughters,
Yeah.
sons, those kinds of things, and not now and again, but on a consistent basis. You might have sort of, what's your name, who are you,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, and then you come back a minute later and they're still asking who are you. So these are some of the
Yeah.
signs then.
they are. It develops gradually. Really, each individual is, it's a different. So, for some, it's that it would be just. It starts with like forgetting things. Your normal everyday life, you forget things, and then in some people it can develop rapidly, and you do forget people. You can't remember names. But what we try to do in this project is to, before we get there, we want to address it, because what we've learned from our research and from the research that RDASH has done, NHS Trust, is that people don't, particularly people from South Asian families, don't access services early enough. They don't get the diagnoses on time. When you get diagnoses on time, it gives you time to plan things. It gives you time to ask the questions, ask for the right kind of help. But if you're diagnosed at sort of a very late stage, there is very little, that can be done, because there are now, there are now drugs that slow it down, not cure it, but it helps. So we're not medical experts, so we don't. But
no, okay. That has parallels with cancer, because I talk about cancer a lot on this show. One of the reasons I started this program was to talk about cancer and life-limiting illness, and dementia is a life-limiting illness.
Yes, it is.
And the parallels that you've just said is that we know that there are 4 stages of cancer, and if you can get help and support in the stages 1 and 2, your chances of a cure or treatment are much better than they are if you come to a later stage.
Yes.
So what you're saying to me is that with dementia, and this again is for some vulnerable communities, are you saying to me that the same parallels are happening across dementia for certain communities?
For getting diagnoses?
Yeah.
Yes. And this hands to this project, really, because people get lost somewhere in getting an appointment with your GP. And nowadays you're getting 10 minutes.
It is. That's a wider issue with the NHS.
Yeah,
and that's,
And then people are saying, look, this is why they get sort of missed out. And so, this is why RDASH has brought in this project. They've funded and they wanted to work with the community group to actually reach those people that they feel maybe they're missing out on, and they are underrepresented in the memory services. Memory services, once you get, you go to your GP, and you say you've got memory problems, and your GP will refer you to your to the memory clinic, where they will carry out a test, assessment, and then find out whether it's to do with dementia or is it something else.
Yes, because there are organic illnesses, aren't there?
Yes.
I mean, one of the ones that I know is that if you have a kidney infection, that can also cause memory issues.
Yes.
So this is why it's very important that when you have any of these symptoms, you actually go to a GP, because before they can diagnose dementia or memory issues, they have to sort of rule out some of these organic. So Hameera, I'm thinking that you've been doing this project for 6 months. What are some of the common myths or misunderstandings that you've come across when you're talking to people about dementia?
So a lot of them, they tend to see it as an embarrassing topic to talk about, and because they don't have much knowledge about it. They don't know what to think. A lot of them, like I said, it's just old age. They think old age and that's it. There's nothing else. There's no other sign or symptom, or so the misunderstanding is just people just thinking that it's just old age, that when
it's
you get
just
older,
something part of normal life.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. You said embarrassment. What about shame? I mean, we know that lots of sort of vulnerable communities have their perception of illness is very different.
Yeah.
So have you come across, are people ashamed to talk about it, or is it?
I think that when I've been going out to the groups, when I've been speaking about the project, they've not been quite open within the groups.
Okay.
They'll approach me privately. So maybe there is that shame. They don't want people to know about it. They don't want people to know that, this person's got memory related issues. So yeah, there is. I would say that people do think it's a shameful topic to be speaking about, and if they like I mentioned earlier on, when they speak to their family members and they say that it's this, you know, I'm experiencing these issues, and then they, you know, family members say, oh, it's all right, it's only old age. They just kind of, they just want to forget about it because the family are brushing it off. So they just think, okay, it's probably nothing, so maybe I shouldn't speak to anyone about it. But then when you've got someone approaching them and talking about it, then they can come to you comfortably and think, oh, this person understands me, so they are willing to help. And we're approachable.
So have families members spoke to you about why they brush it off?
If I may, yeah,
perhaps you can, Makhmur, yeah.
I think in our communities, dementia can still be a sensitive subject because we're still learning about it. I have seen sort of families who love and care deeply, but they may feel unsure about whether to speak openly, or they may think memory loss is just, you know, like Hameera said, part of getting older. Sometimes people carry the worry quietly because they don't know what to do, and that's the issue that we've been trying to address. You know, that is why these conversations matter. That we have these conversations in our community, that we educate ourselves. When we talk about dementia, with kindness and respect and with sort of open mind, and we provide those spaces where you're able to freely, you know, without judgment, that you're able to talk about it, then people open up. And with Yaad Rakhain, that's our aim, is to provide that safe community space for people to come and share their worries, share their concerns.
And I think what Hameera said earlier, that you've given these talks and people may not say anything within the group, but then they come and talk to you. So it's definitely reaching people, isn't it? And people, and if people are coming to you for help and support and advice, so it's definitely working, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So Hameera, what happens when someone attends one of your awareness screening sessions?
So when they come in, I mean, what we've been doing is a lot of people struggle sometimes getting to appointments because they don't have transport. So to get that, to make them feel comfortable, we offer to pick them up and bring them to the clinics. Once they get to the clinics, they have to sign a consent form just to say they're happy with, you know, doing the screening clinic and with the information being shared to whoever it needs to be shared to. And then we'll take them to the clinic where there'll be a nurse consultant, a nurse practitioner, and then there's an interpreter there. So if they're happy for me to sit in, that's something that I'm happy to do, but I haven't sat in one at the moment because there's always an interpreter there for them. They'll go through a series of questions, and that's when they've done when they've asked the questions and, you know, provided the answers. That's when they're told straight away if they need to be referred on for further assessment or if there's no further action needed. And the setting of where we have these clinics held, it's within community groups. We provide refreshments to them. They're chatting amongst others. And it's a really nice atmosphere. So
very sort of informal.
Yeah.
So if I may add, what we've done is bring the memory clinic out into the community.
Took it out to
we took it out of the formal settings, and we brought it out to the community groups. So we've held so far 2 community memory screening sessions. One was at the SB, which is a well-known group in Rotherham, and so we held the session there, and it was very well received because we so far in the 2 clinics, the second clinic was at the Unity Centre. We had 18 people who were participated in screening. Of those, I think 6 people were referred for further assessments. And a couple of them are going through the memory clinic process now, and our aim is to support those people, through all that process all the way. Not just now that we screen them, we leave them.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to stop you there because we are coming up to a short commercial break.
Okay.
If you've just joined us, you are listening to Care Across Cultures with me, your host Mirban Hussain. I've been talking to two wonderful colleagues from YAWR Services who are running the Yaad Rakhain project about dementia and memory. We'll be back shortly after this break. Welcome back to Care Across Cultures with me, your host Mirban Hussain. You're listening to us on Link FM 96.7. Before the break, I was having a conversation with two of my colleagues from YAWR Services who are running a project called Yaad Rakhain. It's a very important project. It's about memory and dementia. And this project that they're running is specifically for the Muslim community, and it is specifically happening in Rotherham. There may be other projects similar to this across the country. I don't know about them. But if you are having memory issues, any concerns, any problems around this, and you live in Rotherham, please get in touch with Yaad Rakhain. They will be sharing their contact details later on in the programme. If you don't live in Rotherham, please get in touch with your local NHS, local memory services, your GP, any community organisation that's around you, and please ask the question, because there will be services around memory, around dementia for all communities out there somewhere. So, Hameera and Makhmur, welcome back.
Okay.
So, before we went into the break, Makhmur, we were speaking about some of the positive impact that the project is already having on the community.
Yeah.
If you could just sort of expand on that a little bit, please.
Yeah. Like I said, that what we've done different is that we have brought the memory services out into the community. So far, like I said, we've held 2 community screening clinics where memory specialist, nurse and practitioner have carried out screening and well-being checks on memory. Where appropriate, we help them think about next steps as well after the screening, such as speaking to their GP or accessing local services. We support individuals through our throughout the journey of dementia diagnosis. Like Hameera said, that we will support people then to be if they're entitled to any benefits, we provide them that advocacy and support as well. We signpost them then to what's available after the diagnosis, what support is available for them, where they can go. And our aim through this project is to sort of hold people's hand throughout the process. We're not going to just leave them at the diagnosis stage and right, okay, you got diagnosis now, we've ticked our box and there you go. That's, and the aim of this project is to sort of follow you, support you throughout your journey, and make sure that people have that dignity and support that they need.
So is that right? So you've said that, so there's the initial access to Yaad Rakhain, awareness sessions, screening,
Yes.
and then diagnosis, all the support that you're going to give them. So they've had the diagnosis, and it's one that they've been diagnosed with, I don't know, say Alzheimer's.
Yes.
Say. After that, how do you support them after that?
We're hoping, we haven't reached that stage yet,
yeah.
because our the people that we have supported so far are going through the process. So we're hoping that the next bit is we look at we will work with the carers, look at what their needs are, look at one of the things that we wish that we had done, but we hadn't done, because dementia is very close to my heart. It's in my family, so we didn't draw up a power of attorney, for example.
Right. Okay.
And you realize that as the disease progresses, how important that is for treatment. Because when the person goes into hospital and they don't have the capacity,
They don't have the mental capacity. Yes,
yeah,
to make
and
decisions.
and then if the family hasn't got power of attorney, then it'll be other people making decisions for them. You're not allowed.
That's a very key point, and I
It is.
talk about that a lot on this program. I've mentioned it many, many times, and within cancer we talk about advanced care planning, which is exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And it seems very sort of sensitive, but it's not about planning for the end of life.
No.
Yeah, it's not about your death. It's about all those practical things. Who makes those decisions?
It makes your life easier as you go along. As the disease progresses, obviously, things become very difficult. It is difficult to provide the care that the person needs. So you need all these processes in place, and this is why we are encouraging early diagnosis, because it helps you plan. It helps you put everything in place. It maintains the person's dignity and respect then, because you want to carry on as a family supporting, or if you can, in your family, if you can. And
But the
also
family, sorry, the family dynamics have changed as well, isn't it, within the Asian, South Asian culture,
Absolutely.
because those big extended families don't exist anymore.
No.
They're very few.
Yeah.
And now we often have just, husband and wife and 2 children. And then it might be your mums and dads are, living on their own. They might be 70 plus, 65 plus, whatever. And their children have sort of moved on because they've got the qualification, they've got the jobs, and they have to go and do that kind of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's that.
Yeah, family dynamics have changed, and that's I think something that in our community we have to recognise and work towards. Like, what do we do in terms of support and care? And that's where again, our support comes in about planning. Do you have those extra resources of family, or you don't? If you don't, then what's next? What are next steps? What are your options for support and care, so that you can live in the community,
Yes. Independently.
Independently, yes.
Because I'm always concerned about an individual who may have these life-limiting illnesses, but also it lives alone.
Yeah.
And with dementia, if they forget things, what's going to happen? Because are they going to remember to eat and drink and those kinds of things, which is really, really difficult, isn't it?
It is.
Are they going to know where the door is? How to even open a door? Because these are sort of some of the issues that potentially that could happen, isn't it? Hameera, we've talked a lot about, and you've mentioned, and so has Makhmur, about the help that you provide, this project provides for families. And you've also mentioned that you help them to access support and services, other support and services. So what kind of organisations have you got links with that you do? And the really interesting question I want to ask is that, do you signpost people, as in give them a telephone, or an email, or is it a warm introduction? Because that makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we do, and that's what my role is. Like I said, we help them from the start to the end. And we've made links with a lot of organisations within Rotherham. We've contacted the Alzheimer's Society, Carers Resilience, and we are in contact with them. And if there is a service that the patient or the person with the diagnosis, this obviously we'll learn as we go along, then we know where to take them to, and it won't be a case of here's the number, here are the details, this is who you can go to. I will take that role upon myself to help make sure that person has got that support, has been welcomed and introduced to this organisation.
So they've actually accessed the service. So you can make sure that they've actually done that.
That's right. Yeah. So like I said, that'll be my role, and we won't just be like, oh, here you're into this service now, and they'll deal with you. We'll do follow-ups, wherever we can support them. That's what we'll be doing.
But that seems like a lot of work for one person.
We're here to help, that's
and the reason I asked that is that this sounds like an amazing project. I don't know how long you've got funding for, or what you're thinking of doing after the funding to develop it, because it seems to me that there's a lot of support that will be needed, because it might be the start. If you had you said how many people that came, and then 18 that came people. Yeah. Which is a third, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's 33%, and that's a huge amount of people who've been after the screening.
It's only 2 clinics so far in the 6 months. So.
Right, okay. Which is really
I think and going forward, I think with the work that YAWR Services does anyway, and we work with the community, we won't be leaving them there. We will continue to work with individuals.
Yeah. Because within your service, within your services, you've got other things as well. You've got the social prescribing, haven't you, which you mentioned earlier, and you've got other projects as well, haven't you?
Yes. When we take on a project, as you know, fundings are always short term or whatever. But in YAWR Services, when we take on a project, we always plan ahead. We say to people, our funders or our partners, like R-Dash is to, we don't leave people in limbo. We don't start something and then say, right, okay, we're packing up now, it's 15 months are over and that's it. No, because the work that YAWR Services do in Rotherham is, it's built around the community. The organisation has grown as the community has grown. We know what the needs are, what people come to us, and we support through our advocacy and advise sessions. We support people on a weekly basis with benefit advice, with accessing services. We, in our group work, we invite services to come.
So it's almost like a one-stop shop.
Yes,
that you've got going on a sort of a smaller scale.
Yeah, and I know it looks like Hameera will have a lot of work to do. Considering the tasks that are involved, but we work as a team. We support.
But there's more of you, and I think it was really important for me to sort of because it's a challenge, isn't it?
It is,
because sometimes funding, as you said, is sometimes
it is
very limited, and it's time limited, and then that. Okay, I want to question because this program is Care Across Cultures. And I wanted to ask the question, how important is culture, faith and language when it comes to discussing dementia and memory concerns? Because my understanding is that there is no direct translation of the word dementia in many South Asian languages. So either of you?
Faith and culture are absolutely central to the work that we do. We cannot separate health from culture, faith and language, and family life, basically, because that's what our project is about, is working around those issues, working around family life and working around language and faith issues, and ensuring that we look at the person as a whole and address those issues, because that's what makes people come forward and seek help, seek advice when they know that they're going to a familiar surround, people that they can trust, people that they can relate to, people who understand where they're coming from. You're not spending half an hour explaining what you're trying to
cultural
say.
norms and
Yeah,
values and
yeah.
those. And language
Yeah,
is
so
really
language is
as well,
important.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking just about language in terms of Urdu, Punjabi, Meetri. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the dialects as well and the tone. There are some things which are unsaid, aren't there?
Yeah.
And it's about having that understanding as well, isn't it?
It's not enough to simply just translate stuff,
Yes.
isn't it?
No.
We have to understand how people make decisions, who they trust, what worries them, how faith and family responsibilities sort of shape the way they respond. So
Have you also come across, and I've come across it a few times now, whereas this sort of almost fatalism that Allah's given me this illness and I have to have sabr.
yes.
Yeah. Have you come across that, and what have you done to sort of overcome that?
We have come across that, but what we're saying, there is our faith. Faith is very important to people, and it helps them get through, their illnesses or difficulties that they're facing. But at the same time, dementia is a medical condition. It's a medical. It's an illness like any other illness. And that's, I think, where our education is, because we've had people like, our people sort of said, oh, well, is it something else?
Yes, yeah.
More spiritual type, or is it, and people go and look at other tangents before they look at it.
Because we have that mental health thing, isn't it? Where is it possession? Is it, is it that kind
and
of
I think
stuff?
that element comes into dementia as well.
It? Okay.
It does. It
That's
does come
surprising.
into dementia as well. So what we're trying to do is to respect those, those ideas and those thoughts that people have, respect them and say, yeah, you follow that through if that helps people. But at the same time, because it's a recognized medical condition, you seek help on those lines as well. You combine it.
Yes.
You combine it because, your faith and your culture helps you sometime more than the medication does.
And I think it's that in tandem, isn't it?
Yes.
Do both.
Yeah.
Do both. Hameera, what are your hopes for Yaad Rakhain over the next sort of 6 months? Because how long is it for, this project? Is it a year?
Well,
It's about a year.
About a year.
But obviously, like I said, you can't just start something and just leave people because there's no funding. We will look at ways to hopefully extend or continue with the project. Our main aim is to raise awareness, and as long as we can teach people in the community about what dementia is, what to look out for, who to approach, what services to use, then that's a very big thing. If we can achieve that, then that's great. And like I said, we'll continue working with them.
I just like to add to that Ardash Foundation Trust, our partners in this project, are very much committed to this project. They're very much, committed to continuing it. It's one of their. They have 26 or 28 I think it's 28 promises list, and dementia is a promise 8, where they're committed to.
Okay, so very high up in.
Absolutely, I mean, from very top. So they are very much committed to serving the underserved communities, making sure that they are meeting the needs of all of communities, not just a section of communities, and they are very committed to implementing that across the organisation. And I've seen that because I've joined recently to be on one of the community's leadership executive boards, because we want to be raising the issues that our communities are facing at a higher level.
Of course.
Where decisions are made.
Of course.
And that's, as part of YAWR's work, I'm involved in that, and they have shown commitment throughout this project, and they are continue to show that commitment, and hopefully looking into to continue this project beyond the contract.
Well, it is a pilot, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So, if you've just joined us, you are listening to Care Across Cultures with me, your host, Mirvan Hussain. You've been listening to us on Link FM 96.7. We are coming to the end of the programme. I'd like to thank both my guests, Hameera and Makhmur from YAWR Services, to come and talk to us about Yaad Rakhain project, which sounds it's an amazing project, very worthwhile, very useful. I will be asking them to give some details how people can contact them, how they can access that support. Now, before we end the programme, Hameera, if listeners could take away one message from today's programme, what would you like it to be?
If you feel as though you are, or someone you know is experiencing any memory related problems, come forward and speak to us. We want to support you, put your mind at ease. It could be something, it could be nothing. Without seeking support, you'll not know. And we'll hold your hand throughout the process. I've personally gone out and put our leaflets into Asian supermarkets, at the pharmacies, at GPs, where our information is on. If you don't want to, like I say, if you want to contact me, our information is on the leaflets. So please get in touch.
So I've got a mobile number here. Yeah. Is that your number?
That's my number, yes.
Okay. So there you have it. If you have any of the issues that Hameera has mentioned, you can call this mobile number 0749107265. I will also put this on my on my Facebook and on my LinkedIn app, and you will actually speak to Hameera, and she will be able to guide you on the next steps. Makhmur, the same question for you. What's the one last message you'd like?
Yeah. My advice would be, please do not sit with the worry or on your own. If you notice changes in your memory, or you are worried about a parent or someone that you know, speak to someone. You know, you speak to someone that you trust. Take first step. Come to us. Go and speak to your GP. It may not be a dementia. Memory problems can be linked to many things like stress, medication, low mood, or physical health. But the important thing is to get advice early. Speak to your GP, or come to and speak to us in Yaad Rakhain. Don't, you know, there is no shame in asking for help. In fact, asking early is one of the best things that you can do for yourself and a family member that you might be concerned about.
Thank you so much for that. We began today by reflecting on the people who carry our stories. Perhaps the message from today's programme is that when someone begins to lose those stories, it's our turn to help carry them. My thanks to Makhmur and Hameera for joining us today. This is the end of the programme. Until next week, Allah Hafiz.